What's going on? It is the OCPD coach, and it has been a minute. Man, it has been a minute. I have not posted a video, just a straight up video on this channel in quite some time. I think and I hope that I forewarned you all though. I think I made note that I would be away from posting new content because I have been busy. I've been slammed. I want another word for busy and slammed, but I'm not looking one up right this second, so it's okay. But yeah, I've been busy. I've been slammed. You all know me. I'm transparent. I'm by the books. You know I have OCPD. You know I have ADHD. You know I have OCD. And one of the things that I've been waiting to do is share my story with you all. Again, my new story. Because you know I've been coaching individuals, and I actually had to put a pause on that about, I think I wrapped up my last contract in January, but it was so amazing getting to coach individuals on a one-on-one basis, getting to help people every single week, see the progress. And I'll tell you, my favorite thing about it was seeing the smiles and relief on people's face. When you help somebody and you get to see the happiness on their face when they say, man, this was a good week. Or even this is a little bit more selfish for me, but it's still, I'm being honest with you, it felt good. If somebody says, man, the advice you gave me, I tried it and it worked. That is rewarding. It is very, very rewarding, and it can be addicting where you just never want to stop. But one of the things that I try to help all of my clients do, and it'd be hypocritical for me not to do the same thing, is find the balance. Although I want to continue coaching people on a one-on-one basis, I also have been busy working my butt off to get this. Dun, 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 dun. So you should be able to see it. It might be a little bright, but that's some new hardware, baby. I actually needed to go back to school, not because I'm uneducated, but I am looking to increase my level at my full-time job. So I needed to go back to school and get a degree in computer science or something equivalent. So I went ahead to Western Governors University and did the Information Technology Management Master's degree program, which I was able to test out of a lot of the courses right away because it was stuff that I already knew. It was stuff that was relevant to my life. I had a leadership course starting out, and it was about different leadership styles and how you navigate that. I was able to write essays on all of these things, no problem, because I was currently leading at my church. I was leading a team of probably 12 guys on a good day and 4 on a normal day to run operations where we had over 500 people on a given Sunday coming in to service. And sometimes it would be 250 at 9:30 and 250 at 11:30. And eventually we had the third service, and that's when I had to take a step back. But I was applying those leadership skills there because I would tell you this, volunteer leadership is a lot different than paid leadership. Paid leadership, people have something else to hold them accountable to be there. Volunteer leadership, people can wake up and say they want to do something, and they can wake up and say they don't want to do something or be on their way and decide not to do it. So it's a whole different thing, and I struggled in different areas with trying to keep my team motivated because it was such a different range of people, and I also had a lot of other commitments that I had going on. But some of the top props that I got were that people were saying the parking team had never run so efficiently, which meant a lot to me because if you know, the thing that I harp on with OCPD is not perfectionism, but it is hyper efficiency, because I desperately believe that, not desperately, that's a horrible word. I deeply believe that it is connected to our need for things to be efficient. On top of that, we had people that were coming and getting their lives saved, getting their lives changed. Individuals would come into that church. We would be the first people they would notice or the first people they would talk to in their lot. So we had the ability to influence how somebody's overall experience was going to be just off that first interaction. Let me make sure my audio is recording. It is. All right. And it was an amazing experience. I met some really cool people. If you hear my heater in the background, ignore it. But I met some really cool people, and it's an experience that I'm extremely happy I got to do. And I got to do that for the past 6 months. So that was my every single Sunday. I probably got 1 week off each Sunday. I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was at the church a lot of times about 6:30, and I'd be there in the morning, and I would be there until 3 p.m. So that was my entire Sunday. Then I work full time. So that's Monday through Friday. Basically the same thing. I'm not getting off till 5 o'clock. Tuesday mornings, I was doing Toastmasters. So I was practicing public speaking. As you can see, you might be able to see it in the background. I did also get some hardware here. I'll pull it out, hold on. All right. So I did also get some hardware here for public speaking. And I have another contest coming up in about 3 or 4 weeks. So that was that. On top of that, I've been working on something really cool that I'm going to be telling you about. 2 things that are really cool that I'm going to tell you about. And I still had to make time for my family. And it's a lot. It was a lot. I had a lot of days where the online course that I'm wrapping up, I'm actually uploading some videos for right now. The online course that I'm working on helps you find balance with progress, helps you find acceptance with progress, helps you increase your relationship overall with progress. I ultimately think that improving that relationship with progress, especially if you have OCPD or you're a high achiever or whatever it might be, I think that is one of the best things that you can do to improve your relationships overall. I'm talking about romantic relationships, relationships with family, relationships with friends, business relationships, every relationship. We tend to have a hard time finding that balance, striking a healthy balance. We wind up hurting people we love because we don't spend enough time with them. We wind up burning out. We wind up becoming resentful because we don't think people are putting in their fair share. Could be so many different issues, but I honestly think that me working on the course, because I did the course before I got super loaded, was the best thing for me because I started really taking my principles seriously. Everything I stood by, everything that I taught in that course, I applied myself. And I made sure if I unloaded something, I took stuff off. I didn't say I wasn't a yes man. Every single thing that came my way, I didn't take. There were a couple things I actually had to deny. One of the coolest things I forgot to mention this, that I got to do was I got to lead Financial Peace University with one of my co-leaders at the church. And we helped people. We taught them. So, it's up to them to actually apply. But we taught them how to improve their relationship with their finances, which is another thing that helps with all of those different relationships that I taught you about. So that was something that was 8 weeks long while I was in school, while I was doing a lot of other stuff. I almost broke the record at my school for getting the degree in the fastest time. And I was 2 weeks off. I won't get into the details there because I didn't believe that was my fault, but I'm not going to cry about it. It is what it is. And yeah, man, there was a lot going on. But those principles that I applied helped me so much where I didn't overcommit myself. And I knew when I needed to take a step back. I'll tell you a few areas that I took a step back, right? I took a step back from Toastmasters. I was going every single Tuesday. It was an early Tuesday commitment. And if you have ADHD like myself, then you have time blindness and everything feels like it takes forever, even if it only takes a little bit of time. Also, I wanted to be able to go to sleep and wake up whenever I wanted to, because when my son goes to sleep, that's when I'm the most productive with my games or whatever I'm developing. That's when I'm most productive. So I wanted to make sure I maximize that time when he was asleep to actually build stuff and not have to say, okay, man, I have to go to sleep in 2 hours because I have to get up at 5 a.m. and I can't be up all night long. So I had to take a step back from that. And what I did was I communicated. This is something that's so interesting that I hope people who have these issues actually take seriously. Communication, let me fix this mic. Communication is so valuable in general, obviously, but communicating your struggles or your situation or your current season is so helpful when you are working or dealing with other people. I communicated with Toastmasters and told them, for the next few weeks, you guys won't see me. If you see me, that's a good day. And that means that I was able to find time in my schedule to actually make it. But that was something that was negotiable for me. That wasn't a non-negotiable. I could drop or pick that up anytime I wanted to. And honestly, had it not been for that need where it seems sometimes as if we're not there, things are not going to run. Had it not been for that, I probably would have dropped a lot of that commitment a lot sooner. But I let them know, hey, you probably won't be seeing me. I started off with every other week. Then it was, okay, you probably won't see me for the next 3 weeks. And right now, I'm in the midst of, you won't see me probably for another 3 weeks. But I'm probably going to go this Tuesday, since this will be my 4th week, and then not go the following week. So I do it like that. But anytime I go, I like to add value. Another thing I dropped my commitment on was the church. After I did Financial Peace University, I was asked if we could start up another course for Financial Peace University in the spring, because I did this in December and January. And me knowing my commitment, I had to say no. I couldn't do it because I needed to make sure I did not burn myself out and start becoming resentful or anything. Any emotion could be derived from burnout. A lot of emotions can be derived from burnout. So you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you can incur any of it naturally. The next thing I did was, I recently did this. I did this about a month ago. I got my wife a truck because she hadn't had a vehicle, because she hadn't had to go anywhere. We both are at home. So anytime we need to go somewhere, we just go together. But I got her a truck so that I could offload some of my responsibilities for my son. That way I don't have to take him to every appointment, every single karate date, whatever you might call it. I didn't have to do all of that on my own. Now she stepped up and has been able to take her truck and do the things that she needs to do. So that works for me because I have a pickup truck. It's a little bigger. She doesn't really like that. But her truck is the perfect size for her. And that was a way for me to offload. Another thing I did was I had to recently step down from leading the parking team. When I started, I committed to trying to do it until February. I wanted to at least make it to February, and that would have been a 6-month run. And I could say, cool, I helped out. We made some impact, and hopefully they would have had a new leader by then. But I noticed that time was flying by, and it was February. And then it was March, and I was still leading it. So I had to reach out about 3 weeks ago now, and I had to say, hey, I'll be there for another month, and then I'm out, because I had to make sure that my family time that I had was not getting sacrificed. And you might be saying, but hey, you had Saturdays. Why not spend Saturdays with family time? Well, that is where I need to introduce you to my newest project that I've been working on, which is called Retro Game Store Simulator. Yes, I made a freaking video game, another one. And this was something that I had retired from. I stopped making video games because I was so into my coaching that I didn't have the time, and I didn't have any inspiration. Honestly, I didn't have any inspiration that really made me inclined to make a game. So to me, it seemed like I was forcing it. Well, when I went and got my product owner certification, which I don't even know if I mentioned that, I might have, but I became a certified Scrum product owner. All of a sudden I had a blueprint in my head where it's like, okay, cool, apply it, because that's how I learn. I don't learn from videos. I don't learn from reading necessarily. I learn from application. I'm a kinesthetic learner. So for me, I had to apply everything I learned to confirm that I learned and actually knew what I was doing. So I started thinking, man, what kind of projects can you do? What can you do to confirm that you have the knowledge that you say you have? And that is when I came up with a few different ideas. It morphed over about 2 weeks. And I kept talking it out with my wife, because game commitment is such a difficult thing, especially if you don't have your family on board. It requires so much of your energy. So I had to talk with my wife and say, okay, look, let's say I do this thing. Let's say if I make this game, it's going to require a lot of time away from me. And she originally asked, she said, okay, how long do you think it's going to take to make the game? And I said, it'd probably take about 2 or 3 months. And this was in June of last year. It is currently March. The following year, the game is not complete. The game is not released. And it has been, I've been struggling mentally to find that balance. It has not been an easy journey. It is not, I need people to understand this, because when you have YouTubers or you have social media influencers come on, a lot of times they're either, hey, I have everything figured out in life and everything's perfect all the time, or they are on the other side of the spectrum where everything's always gloomy. I'm really always struggling. Nothing ever works out for me. And the self-loathing. And I wanted to hit you all right in the middle, because that's what life in reality typically is, unless you are dealing with something like depression or some other form of multiple personality disorder or something like that, then I think that's a lot different. But I'm talking about people who are not struggling with those specific types of disorders, but you are just the type of person who is living, and you have days that are up, you have days that are down. And although I'm a coach, I'm not perfect. I'm not the perfect OCPD person that has every single answer for anything. I'm not that smart where I have every single answer for anything in life. It's just in general. Even when my wife calls me smart, or people call me really smart, I take it in, but I always keep that perspective that it's always somebody smarter in different areas, and I'm just good at what I'm good at. But what I will tell you is that I'm a problem solver. Now, you put me in the room with any other problem solver. Let's say we have the same, they might have a little more knowledge. You put me in a room with somebody who needs a solution to something, and I'm your guy. Even if I don't have the exact solution, I'm going to try to figure out a plan that can help us get to the solution. And I think that's the thing that when I ask any employer, why do you hire me? Because I always want to know. That's something that they always say. They say that scrappiness, the willingness to figure something out, that's what attracts them to me. And that is what has helped my clients as well. Every single one, when I first started doing coaching, I used to come up with a whole 6-week curriculum. And I would say, okay, we can work on this. And as I started working with my clients more and more, I started, that sheet's trash. Don't need that. Those are gone. And we were back to the drawing board on what they actually needed to focus on. So I wanted to realize, and I overcommitted with coaching when I was doing that, and I was going in too heavy-handed, when actually I needed to be more agile and say, okay, this week, how are you doing? What's going on? And then we actually get to talking, and we can figure out what they need to work on. So those are some of the things that I just honestly, I lost my train of thought, but I just wanted to show you all the ups and downs of me and the type of coach I am. Now, you might be saying, okay, yeah, you had a hard time, but you're not sitting up whining or complaining or looking sad or dejected or angry or anything like that on YouTube. And I think all of that comes down to just how you look at situations. As much as situations might suck, I always try to look at situations from an optimistic perspective. And I think this has a lot to do with my faith. My faith has rooted you in that everything happens for a reason, even things that suck or don't make sense. And I've conditioned myself to understand that even death works that way as well. Whenever I'm going from this earth, I've already told my wife and son what I need them to do, how to best prepare themselves, and let them know that my death should not be in vain if I pass away, because I was here for a reason. I served a certain purpose, and whenever I'm gone, hopefully my presence, me being here while I was here, was able to be impactful enough for somebody. So my death does not have to be this negative, sad situation, even if the condition of it might be tragic. We all die sometimes. We all die sometimes. No, we all die one day. And I think you can get something out of anything. I think everything does happen for a reason. I think about deaths in my family and how, as tragic as it was for me at that age, I look at it now and I say that death had to happen to shape even just me. And it's not trying to put me in everything, but I'm me, so I can only talk from my perspective. And I say, okay, this had to happen to shape me. This had to happen to shape their kids. Even when they died, they had kids. This had to happen to shape the family. The family has to go through all this turmoil to shape the next generation of kids. My family has to break apart, disintegrate, so that I can have a better relationship with my son and my wife as my new family, my new nucleus. My father not being in the home with me, but I had a relationship with my dad and I love my dad. Although we didn't have that, and that might have sucked for me. Now I was able to have a relationship with my brothers, a childhood that I wouldn't have been able to have had he been there. Likely, I didn't have to go through certain situations. And now me as a father, I'm so much more intentional about making sure my family is run in a specific type of way for longevity. And I don't even need to keep saying I'm not even thinking about stuff. It literally has become second nature. So I do need to go back to Toastmasters. But yeah, let's talk about the game. Retro Game Store Simulator is a game that I'm releasing for Steam. Right now, Steam is the top PC gaming brand in the world. And I have a game called Mark Out, the wrestling card game on Steam. I love that game. I have a trash game called Smash Therapy, where you just take a baseball bat and break glass in slow motion because I wanted to learn the Unreal Physics engine. And I have a game called Pick Fed Evolution, where you take digital action figures and you pose them and take a screenshot, take a picture. As simple as that. What I would like to tell you all, though, is that I need to open the project also. You see, this is my ADHD. My ADHD is, hey, you thought about a game. You need to pull down that game locally so that you can make sure you can pull something up in that game so you can use it for your current game. That's how it works. That's my ADHD a lot of times. And additionally, I'm on Adderall. So my Adderall is actually wearing off right now, which is why I'm tired. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and my thoughts are all over the place, and I'm jumping all around because I'm having a harder time controlling my brain. All right, so that's that. The next thing I wanted to say, though, is that this game is a game where you go into the 1980s. So you start in 1983 for the demo, 1984 for the initial release, and you run a video game store. Simple as that. You run it from the 1980s all the way up until 1989 right now. My long-term goal is to have the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. And I might stop there, honestly, because I think once you get to the 2020s, that's not really a retro game store anymore, is it? It's just a game store. Maybe it's the 2020s when you're playing the game. The actual time frame is the 2020s, but I don't put new games and new consoles in. But this is a game that I did 3D modeling for. I programmed. I've done project management. And I might make a new video to explain to you how proud I am about certain things I was able to do regarding my OCPD for this project. But I'll touch on it a little bit here. First of all, go wishlist the game. I'll have it in the description. You can also go to retrogamestoresimulator.com. That's my domain, baby. And go there if you want to get the wishlist link. I also do live streams where I live stream me working on the game. So that is on my other YouTube channel, Retro Game Store Simulator. So look that up. You'll see a light blue background, maybe a heavier set dude with long brown hair, some sunglasses, and he's holding a portable game system and some cash. That is what the icon is for it. It is not Retro Game Shop Simulator, completely different. Retro Game Store Simulator. I've been working on it. It's a very, very intentional passion project. So make sure you check it out. And if the video cuts out, the video cuts out. That's the end of the video. What I'm not going to do is edit videos anymore because I don't have the bandwidth to do that. Like I told you all, I had to offload non-negotiable. I had to offload negotiables. This is a negotiable. If it goes out, it goes off. I need to answer a question from earlier. Saturday, when I was saying why I couldn't do it on Saturdays, the family time, it was because developing games takes a lot of time. After I work for my job, I'm typically too tired to get any real progress done. So Saturdays had to become my new work days. Saturdays used to be family fun days where I would take my family out and have fun with them. But I couldn't do that when I was working on the game because I had to make progress for it. And then when I lost my Sundays too, I would come home and I'd be asleep for about 3 or 4 hours, didn't get a chance to talk to my son. That was horrible. So now I have my Sundays back. So Sundays would be work day, Saturday would be work day, Sundays would be family fun days, and I'm getting that back in my life, so thank God for it. Now I can come back to my original point. My original point was that the game is something that you all should wish list, please. And I want to tell you all about some of my wins. My wins are related to my delegation skills, my frugality, and my overall, I want to think of how to put it, this little finger here. But think about imposter syndrome and think about the opposite. How about confidence syndrome? That sounds so weak, but it'll work. We do confidence syndrome. I'm going to go deeper, so if this video cuts off because it only has a certain amount of time these videos can do it, I will make a new video, so be on the lookout for that where I'll talk more about these. But my delegation skills, every game that I made in the past, I failed at delegating. I had a hard time. Markout was probably the best job I ever did because I brought people on to do music and UI. Outside of that, I made every single model for that game. So the character models, I actually made those using the character generator, and I modified the UVs and stuff like that. I brought somebody in to do music. I brought somebody in to do art. But a lot of those were me just scrambling, trying to find something, not me really saying, okay, I surrender this area of the game over to this person. I trust them, whatever they're going to do for this. I made my own trailer. I made my own Steam capsule. I made my own Steam page. I didn't do any marketing research. I did all of my own everything, just me. And I think the game, what I realized when I was making this game, I did a lot of research. I realized how much potential was wasted on that game and the game's release. I failed at being able to, dang, I should remake this game sometime. I don't know. I don't know, man. That'd be a lot. But I could have captured a lot more people. I could have made a lot more money off that game. And honestly, man, we're adults. We're not going to sit here and talk as if money is a bad thing. We need money to eat. We need money to survive. We need money to take care of our people. If you are an adult, you're not running a nonprofit, and you are doing things just for, let me make sure I'm putting it, you're spending a good amount of time doing things and not looking to make it monetized, I think you are, and this is me, but to me, that's not the right direction to go if you are not financially well off. And when you're financially well off, that's a different story. But if you're not financially well off where your kids can have college paid for, whatever it's going to be, your home is paid off, you're debt free, you can give to others, maybe your family is, you're helping your family out in different ways. I don't think there's anything wrong with seeking financial stability. And the way you seek financial stability is through streams of income. The way you have streams of income is you make products, you offer services, and you get paid for the energy that you give out. It's a fair exchange. I think a lot of us have gotten into this culture where we make it seem as if asking for money or wanting money, not asking with your hand out without giving something, but asking for money in exchange for your services or doing something because it can generate money, we have turned that into a bad thing. I think that's toxic, as they say. I think that should be canceled. That should be what cancel culture is really about, because you can't survive without money. And I'm very, very connected with God. I know about the love of money being the root of all evil. And I'm not talking about this obsession with money where everything has to just be money, money, money. As I mentioned, I'm saying a good majority of your time. I think once you build that base, you build that foundation, that financial stability, that you can do more things that don't require you to spend a lot of money. Right now, I'm in my building phase. I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm not making it seem like it's anything that it's not. I make videos on here that are not monetized right now, and that's the free content. My hope is that I help people, but my secondary hope is that obviously I bring clients in to either get my coaching services. I'm making an online course. I hope you buy that. Or you go and support me in some other different financial way if that is something that you actually see value in. Now, I'm not for just giving money just to get it. I don't believe that you should just give money just to give it. Just say, hey, I'm just giving you money just because you exist. But I do think if you are getting value from people that you feel is worth it, that you shouldn't have any problem parting ways with some finances or time or energy or some other different value or resource. I think we have to get out of this negative mindset about money. Retro Game Store Simulator allowed me to really grow with my delegation. So I didn't use AI. I used AI to start the game just to get a feeling for what the game was, get a good feel, just to see what it was like, where basically just a play test or a demo for myself. But I paid for artists to replace all AI art. I paid for writers to write descriptions of every game. I paid for my writer to write up newspaper articles. Paid for my writer to write up magazine covers and magazine articles. Paid for a bunch of voiceover work, and I paid for a bunch of resources, a bunch of books and different games, different things that would actually help me out. Another thing, so that's my delegation. And what I did was what I talk about with our failure to delegate. Let's see if I can remember it because it's been a while since I've actually taught on it. But if something is unclear, undefined, and unrealistic, I think those are the three. I'm trying to make sure I didn't use a different word for unclear, but unclear, undefined, unrealistic. I tried to make sure every single request that I made to voiceover artists hit all three of those on the head. Every single request. So I would reach out. I would explain a little bit about what I was interested in having them do. I would show them a portion of the project so that they got an idea of what the project was. And I would say, okay, what is your process for me to get you to do work for this project? And a lot of it was Fiverr, where I would reach out on Fiverr. I would say, this is the game I'm working on. I want to have some characters made. How much do you charge per character? Boom. Okay. How long does it take to make per character? Boom. Next thing I would do is I would say, nice, I want to do a package. I want to get at least 30 characters done. We can do it in increments of 5. Are you willing to work with me on the price to do a bulk deal? Yes, it might be $1 or $2 off. Perfect. What do you need to get started? We need pictures of every character. Nice. I got all of the pictures, put them in a zip file, and this required me not to be lazy, which my ADHD can make me lazy. I'm not sugarcoating this. A lot of times we say, oh, we don't want to associate ADHD with laziness. I have ADHD, and I can get lazy because I literally will tell myself I don't have energy or desire to do it. And you can make up all the words and whatever you want to say. I don't have enough dopamine. But to me, I'm just being lazy in that moment in time. Because when I take my Adderall, I'm able to knock it out. I'm good. So yeah, I was able to delegate and actually get so many things done. So the characters, a bunch of voiceovers, probably over, it's well over 1,000 lines of voiceover now that I think about it, with all the NPCs, the art, the music. I actually reached out to music. Now this is where the frugality actually came. I'm hoping it's frugality. I'm hoping I'm using that word. It almost seems like it should be frugal. Yeah, frugality. For some reason, I'm seeing fragile in my mind. I told y'all my ADHD is kicking my butt right now. But a lot of times, my frugality would make it where I don't want to spend a lot of money on my game. So I actually would not pay to have custom music. I might say, no, I could just go to YouTube route. Or maybe somebody would pay me for free or whatever the case might be. And I actually reached out to people and said, I love this song. How much can I pay you? How much would you charge me to put it in my game? They said, name a price. Instead of me giving a low price, I actually gave a price that I thought was fair, the highest I could go. So I say, I had one person, he charged me $200 per song, and I got 3 songs, so $600. They were happy, I was happy. Paid another person for about 12 songs, and they were a smaller artist. They just really wanted some exposure. They didn't even care to have money, and I still paid them anyways. One of my guys, he's a buddy now, but we used to be coworkers, and we did not always see eye to eye. He's an older person who has his mindset, and I was a younger person with my mindset coming in, and he was already doing something, and I wanted to start doing it, and I didn't always do stuff the right way, the right process. And he's a little a-hole. He knows he is sometimes, but man, he's a good person. And we had conflict at work in 2019 when I left, and I hadn't talked to him. When I found out I had my diagnosis, I actually reached out to him, and I said, man, I see how this could have impacted our team in these ways. And I've made amends there, apologized for my role in it, and we kept in contact. And then I told him about my game, and he is actually the person who made the logo for my game. So you see this real cool logo? He made this real cool logo. He didn't even require me to pay. He didn't want me to pay, and I still paid him. I said, no, I'm going to pay you money. I paid for this chair. So this is a $2,000 chair, but I was sitting at my desk for long periods of time. So I needed to get me a nice chair that wouldn't hurt my back and give me back pain because I was having back pain sitting in my chair for 10 hours at a time. Got a whack-a-mole board so I can draw because when I needed a new artist and I tried a few different people, it didn't work. I needed to find something that I could draw. Trying to fix that. That I could draw with myself. So I got that. And a bunch of other different, even my keyboard, I invested in a nice keyboard. I think it was about $78. A nice mouse, a nice pad for my elbows when I'm typing, a nice wrist pad for my mouse usage. I just invested in all these things. And what I wound up figuring out through those was that I was able to stretch my limits of what I can make, and that my OCPD was actually limiting me in what I could build because I was not properly delegating, so people didn't want to work with me, and I didn't want to work with people because it just kept failing and I didn't have a solution. I didn't want to spend money, so nobody wants to work with cheap people. So when I started spending money, people were more willing to work with me. They had better attitudes. They put better effort forward. And the work that they would actually present was worth it. It was something that I was really happy with. I get geeked even to this day. I found another person I used to work with, 3D artist. And I reached out to him and said, hey man, can you make some 3D models for the game? How much do you charge? What's your rate? I didn't try to talk him down or anything. I clearly explained. I said, let's hop on a call so we can step through everything. I said, look, let's hop on Zoom. Let me show you the game. This is exactly what I'm looking to have done. And originally when I explained it, it wasn't clear. He thought he had to do a lot more work, so the price was a lot higher. When I brought him into the project and he was able to see what I was talking about, he was like, oh no, that's half the price. So even going that extra step to make sure my delegation was clear helped me out. And crap, what was the third thing that I worked on? Oh man, what was it? Oh, the imposter syndrome turning into confidence syndrome. My games before, I was very, very quiet about the games. I didn't talk to anybody about the games. I would just make the game and hope that somehow it took off. Well, with this game, I actually have been watching Chris who is he is the marketing guru for Steam, specifically Steam. I watched his content. I watched all the free content, of course, first. Then I decided again, stepping out and investing in my project and having faith in it. I purchased one of his courses, which broke down all these different Steam pages, things that work, different metrics, and all of the marketing advice that he had. And I said, okay, cool. These are the different things that he says makes you successful. And a lot of it was putting your stuff out there, having a store page even before the game is done, reaching out to people to do articles, reaching out to streamers. So I've been doing all of that stuff. And I actually had Moist Critical, Penguin Zero, Charlie, whatever you want to call them. I actually sent $500 to have him just watch my trailer, which that's a combination of two things. That's the frugality, and then that is the willingness to put myself out there, because I had to be willing. He had over 8,000 people watching on YouTube when I did it. I had to be willing to hear people talk trash about my game. I had to be willing to hear him trash my game in front of probably 16,000. He had 8,000 on Twitter. I mean, on YouTube. He had a whole another stream going on Twitch because he was multicasting. I had to really be ready for it, but it didn't even cross my mind to say, hey, they're going to crap on the game. It was just, hey, this is an opportunity for exposure. Take it or leave it. You be a punk or you step up. And in that moment, I decided to step up. You be cheap or you actually put everything out on the line right now. I decided to put it all on the line and reached out to him on there while he was streaming and did it. And he watched my stream, which my page has not blown up from this yet because I don't have a demo, and I've learned that when I put the demo out, the page will do a lot better, the store page. So that's why I'm working hard on the demo. But me doing that showed me I was in a different place mentally than I've ever been. As a matter of fact, I've invested over $20,000 into this game so far. Over $20,000. Never in my life have I invested that much into a game. I think for Markout, the most I spent on that was $3,000. And most of that was music and the UI. I'm at 20K in this game right now. skin. That's not including time, and that's not including energy. So when I say I'm all in on this, I'm all in on this game. And that's why I had to take a step back from parking right now, from leading that team, because I have to get this game ready by a certain date so that the game can perform well enough to maximize the amount of profit that can be returned. That was something else I learned from Chris Zukowski, and that is another OCPD win, is my rigidity. My rigidity would have been like, no, you have to stay on schedule and do not move your release date. If the game is not done by this time, just don't finish the game. That's how my brain would be a lot of times. But I actually changed the release date 2 or 3 times. I can't remember exactly, but 2 or 3 times. The reason I changed the release date the first time, it wasn't ready. It wasn't polished enough. And that wasn't even I'm trying to make it super perfect or hyper efficient. It just was not ready. Right now, it's still not ready. I still have features I want to put in this game. And these are not a bunch of bonus features. These are just features to round the general gameplay out so that people are happy with what they get. But the last reason that I decided to delay it was watching Chris Zukowski. He gave a game plan for how to really do well on Steam. Me, I've never been the type of person that like to follow other people's game plans, which I don't know if that's my stubbornness. I heard there's another disorder, which I don't want to keep adding all these disorders to my name. I have 3, that's enough. But there is a authority, I'll have to find, but there is basically an authority disorder where you have a hard time with people telling you what to do. And some of that factors in. But I think a lot of that is in my head. I just always think I know better than people and that they don't know my formula or that I'm special or my situation is different. That's me being transparent. Well, I had to humble myself. I had to say, Shannon, you released the game on Steam. You made $28,000 from the games that you've released on Steam. And you think you have better advice, better strategies than a person who has examined over 1,000 video games on Steam, what has made them successful, what has made them work. Why would you be so stupid to listen to your advice, your strategy, instead of just taking the data he presents? Why would you be so cheap not buy his course when you know that this course can have valuable information to help you? These are conversations I had to have with myself. Why would you be so cheap not to purchase your domain? I had to pay $3,000 for my domain alone for RetroGameStoreSimulator.com. I had to pay for the trademark. That's over $700 I had to pay, or $350 and another thing. Then all of my business licensing, just continuing to pay for all these fees. I had to pay a lot of money just for administration. And that is what I'm saying. My OCPD would have gotten in the way of that in the past, and my ADHD, to the point where I would have just said, I don't want the business at all. I don't want to do games anymore. I'm over it. I don't have time. I don't have money. I can use that money for something else. But what I'm doing right now is investing. I'm investing in products. I'm making products. This is not the only thing, by the way, that I'm doing. You guys, if you don't know me, you're going to learn how I am. I'm the type of person where I'm a creator, and I have to create in different places. So I have my video games, which is my outlet. That is my therapy, because I haven't been to therapy in a while. That's my therapy. That is how I get my peace. That is my zen. That is my contribution to the world. And I have something called Habu, which I have a YouTube video up for Habu, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about for that. But it's a learning edutainment brand for kids. And I also have the course that I'm working on for OCPD coaching. So I went on a long tangent. I just want to let y'all know where I've been, because I'm sure if you've been wondering where I've been, I have not really told you all much because nothing was public. But now everything is public. You can wish list Retro Game Store Simulator right now. If you want to know about the course that I'm working on too, make sure you sign up for the mailing list for the OCPD coach, because I'm going to be doing some information about that, and I'll probably do a very, very special discount for people who get it from the mailing list. I'm going to see what kind of discount I can do. But this course is going to be something that I'm hoping you all will enjoy. I'm going to log off with that being the case and make probably 5 more videos. So expect to see me in the same outfit, same watch, same ring. Until then, I want you to keep fighting for your life. Peace.